Have you ever thought about what makes a life truly meaningful? Well, we're about to dive into a 2,000-year-old blueprint for exactly that. It comes from Pirkei Avot, the ethics of the fathers, and it boils everything down to just 3 core relationships.
But here's what makes this so powerful. This isn't some abstract philosophy dreamed up in an ivory tower. No, this wisdom was born from a single, painful, and very human mistake. This is a lesson someone learned the hard way.
So let's meet the man behind these words. His name was Yehoshua ben Perachya. And to really get what he's trying to teach us, you first have to understand his story.
Now, this wasn't just some quiet scholar. He was a major leader, the head of the Sanhedrin, the high court, during the really turbulent Second Temple period, way back in the 2nd century BCE. I mean, these were dangerous times. The government literally turned on its own sages, and Yehoshua ben Perachya had to flee for his life, all the way to Egypt. So this was a man who knew what pressure felt like. He knew exile, and he knew the heavy weight of leadership.
Okay, so there's this really deep principle in Jewish thought about how you guide people, especially when they mess up. The Talmud says you should always push away with the left hand while drawing close with the right. Think about that. You use your weaker hand, the left hand, to create a little distance, but your stronger hand, the right, is always ready to pull them back in. It's this beautiful balance that says, I'm not giving up on you.
And this is exactly where, according to the Talmud, Yehoshua ben Perachya failed. The story is just heartbreaking. When he finally returned from exile, he misunderstood something a student said, and in a moment of sheer frustration, he pushed him away. But he pushed him away too hard. He slammed the door shut, and he lost that student forever. That student went on to cause enormous spiritual damage, and it's believed that this one deep regret is what forged the 3 teachings he became famous for.
And that brings us right to the first pillar of his advice. You can almost feel it as the first step he took to rebuild, to make sure a mistake like that would never happen again. It's really the foundation for all personal growth.
His first instruction is, Aseh lecha rav, make for yourself a teacher. Now the wording here is so precise, so powerful. He doesn't say find a teacher or look for a teacher. He says make one. What could that possibly mean?
That word, make, is everything. It puts all the responsibility right on your shoulders. It means you have to make yourself into someone who can be taught. It's about cultivating the humility to take guidance, even if your mentor isn't perfect. Because who is? You're the one who actively makes them your teacher by being ready and open to learn.
All right, let's move to the second pillar. See how this all builds? First, you establish a relationship with someone above you, your teacher. The next step, you build a bond with a peer, someone on your level, an equal.
His second piece of advice is Yikneh lecha shaver, acquire for yourself a friend. And again, that word choice just jumps out at you. Acquire? That sounds like you're buying something at the store. Why on earth would he talk about friendship like it's a business deal?
Well, it's because real friendship isn't something that just happens to you. It's an investment. To acquire something means you've got to pay a price. And a true, deep friendship costs you some of the most valuable things you have: your time, your energy, and, yep, your vulnerability. And unlike the teacher relationship, which can be a bit one-sided, friendship has to be mutual. You acquire them, and they acquire you.
And this isn't just a vague idea. An ancient commentary called Avot Dabrinasan gets super specific about how you actually do this. It says you eat and drink together, you study and wrestle with ideas together, and you build trust by revealing your secrets to each other. It's this really intentional, deep process of sharing a life.
And now we come to the third and final pillar. This is the one that acts like glue, holding the other 2 together. It's the absolute essential ingredient for any healthy relationship, and you guessed it, it brings us right back to Yehoshua ben Perachya's own painful mistake.
His final teaching is this: Vehehei dan et kol ha'adam lichaf sachut, and judge every person favorably. This is probably one of the most famous lines in all of Jewish wisdom, and maybe one of the most misunderstood.
So let's be crystal clear about what this does not mean. Judging favorably doesn't mean you're supposed to be a fool. It doesn't mean you make up excuses for obviously bad behavior or pretend that something dangerous is totally fine. Jewish wisdom never, ever asks you to be naive. In fact, the great philosopher Maimonides gives us this incredibly practical, smart framework. He says it all depends on who you're looking at. If it's someone known for being righteous, a good person, you assume the best, even if what you see looks awful. They've earned that trust. For an average person or someone you just don't know, you give them the benefit of the doubt, but only when the situation is genuinely unclear. And for someone who is known to be wicked, you don't have to judge them favorably at all. Your first job is to protect yourself. It's a nuanced, intelligent way to live.
So, all of this brings us to right now. How does this 2,000-year-old advice actually hold up in our world? I would argue it's not just relevant, it's more critical now than ever before.
First, make a teacher. Think about it. We live in the age of the self-taught expert, right? We've got YouTube University and AI that can answer literally any question in seconds. But a real human teacher, they know you. They see your blind spots in a way no algorithm ever could. This ancient advice really asks us, are we still teachable? Is there anyone in our lives whose judgment we trust even more than our own?
Then there's acquire a friend. Today, we have massive networks. We have thousands of followers, hundreds of contacts. But do we have friends in that ancient sense of the word? People we've truly paid for with our time and vulnerability? People who actually know our secrets? This teaching is a powerful reminder that there's a huge difference between a contact list and a confidant.
And finally, judge favorably. Wow, our entire social media world seems to be built on the exact opposite principle, doesn't it? It runs on snap judgments from incomplete information. We see a 15-second clip, a single out-of-context tweet, and we deliver a final verdict like we're a judge and jury. This ancient wisdom calls for something that feels almost radical today, a little humility. The simple, profound recognition that, you know what, we probably don't have the whole story.
And that really brings us to the ultimate point. The Talmud teaches that the way we judge other people directly impacts how we ourselves are judged. The mercy, the understanding, the benefit of the doubt we give to others, that's ultimately what comes back to us. It's like a cosmic feedback loop.
So we're left with this incredible, ancient blueprint for a well-built life. The relationship looking up to a teacher, the relationship looking sideways to a friend, and the relationship looking out to every person we meet. It really makes you stop and ask yourself, in a world of endless information, shallow connections, and lightning-fast judgments, which of these three essential relationships are you actually building?